So I have Malcolm and Adrien, the founders of Echopoint Medical, here with me today. Thank you guys for spending the time.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Ask you a little bit about your journey with Echopoint and with the fund. So if I could start off and just ask you, how did the idea for Echopoint come about, and where was it born, and then where have you taken it to today?
Sure. Thank you very much, Dave, for the opportunity. This is very much a clinical translational project. So perhaps we could start with you, Malcolm, if you want to provide some a sort of background on the clinical context.
Yeah. So Adrien and I had some research we were performing together. We'd been through several ideas about optical sensing technologies, which there is Adrien's area of expertise. And there were a couple of red hot clinical areas that we thought we could lend this to. And I'm a clinician. And by bringing these two kind of ideas together, first of all, it was generating a really great, what I think was really great, but still think it's really great research. But then it became apparent that really to make this come into the clinical sphere and make a difference to patients, it has to be more than just a research project. This really needs to be a company. And that was the thinking behind which Echopoint was born. Adrien?
Yes, definitely. So it's been really exciting to go through the process of starting with whiteboard drawings and starting with early experiments and getting to the point where we have preclinical experiments that gave us a lot of confidence that this would work. It also was extremely enlightening to work closely with UCLB and with Albion to try to work out which concepts within this paradigm, within this technology platform, had the best chance of success right from the outset, and how to structure our thinking in that way.
Yeah, it'd be great to understand from your perspective, what was it that made you want to work with the UCL Technology Fund? What was the thing that sort of drew you in to want to work with us?
Sure. So the UCL Business have been with us right from the outset. And of course, when we started working with them, it was primarily to do with patent filing and to try to protect our ideas in general, to build the foundation for Echopoint. But we realized that actually there's a tremendous amount of expertise that was available to us for doing a lot more, and in particular, the business development aspects that were made accessible to us through the UCL Technology Fund were extremely useful and served as the foundation for Echopoint.
Great.
So if I just add there's some things that were really terrific about UCL Tech Fund from the start. So coming into this as a clinician and an academic, really, I think, although we had a pretty, at the time we thought we were pretty au fait with what would be required to build a business, the actual input from yourself, Dave, and also other colleagues of yours into what would be necessary to raise investment, what we could expect from raising investment, really driving that initial process together, putting together the company, really made it stand over and above just, it wasn't just cash to build the company, it was actually that advice and guidance through those early stages, what we could expect, what were red flags to look out for, and how we could, how we managed to take the company forward.
Great, that's great to hear. And as you now sort of, you're founders of a company, you've been running the company for a couple of years now. What would you describe as your kind of real strength, your superpowers, and what are the areas you still think you're working on?
Right. Well, I'll leave the superpowers to you and Malcolm, but I think one strength that we have here is to appreciate that diversity of thinking is really critical to a company of our kind, particularly one focused on medtech that spans a number of different technology areas. And so one of the aspects that the UCL Technology Fund really helped us with is to connect to people outside our network. So for instance, our executive chair has been a core part of the company. This is Anthony Grimm, and this is Anthony O'Dell, and he was really somebody important to us from the outset of the company formation, even prior to company formation, And I think it was thanks to the UCL Technology Fund that we were able to recruit somebody of his caliber.
Great. And Malcolm, what would you say?
Yeah, so I mean, I absolutely second that with around Anthony, who's been absolutely fantastic. So that was a direct introduction from the UCL TF, and he's really revealed the weaknesses that, you know, some weaknesses we didn't even, you know, we didn't know we had. For example, the structure of the company, how to just the management of things in such a company is so different from how one would expect, coming from a clinical or an academic background. So those sides of things have been fantastic. As far as you know, the superpower I guess we still have being associated with the UCLTF is that deep technical knowledge from UCL coupled with the clinical aspects. So because we've both still got roots in our academic and clinical backgrounds, we're able to draw on expertise that could be really hard to do otherwise. So if we were with another, you know, if we were just cast adrift from both, let's say, systems that we grew up with, then it'd be really hard to call in some expertise and help. So I think that really puts us well ahead, actually, of the game, both technically and hopefully clinically.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's been fantastic to have the support from both the clinical and academic spaces that underpin the company, and to see that they share in our success and that they're looking to make this spin out one that will have a huge clinical impact, not just in the UK, but beyond, worldwide. And again, it's the UCL Technology Fund that enabled this company to grow and to provide a lot of confidence to the academic and clinical underpinnings that this will be managed in a way that will allow it to grow. And it's been so exciting to see Echopoint grow with people who are really experienced and have the deep knowledge from the standpoint of company building to make this a success.
Great. Well, it's been super exciting to be working alongside you guys as well. I guess if you look back from the start now, I mean, is there anything that you would have changed or done differently now that you've sort of spent a few years in the sort of commercialization world? If you were to go back and give yourself some advice or change something, is there anything in particular you would pick up on?
Yeah, I mean, if I could say one thing that you know, not to be controversial here, I think coming out of the academic environment, there's a great feeling that, you know, we've got all these fantastic ideas, fantastic projects that we could go ahead with. But the clarity of thought that's developed over the last year, really just aiming at the single, you know, what's the single thing that we need to do here to sort of really put all the options aside, which may still be great options for the future. Having that deep clarity, I think, on something which will be a product and make money. Ultimately, that's the you know, make money through helping, you know, helping people in delivering good healthcare. To focus that down a little earlier in the journey, I think that would have been helpful. It's a personal view, of course. Adrien, is there?
Yeah, I would second that. It's nice to have the benefit of hindsight, but certainly one thing that we've been appreciating more and more these days is that extreme focus for a company at our stage is really important. And I think these days more than ever, what we're doing is to try to identify the points of technical and commercial risk that are really highest on the list, and to address those as early and as profoundly as we can, and move on to the next. So it's what's made working in this environment really exciting in many ways. Every day is different, and it's also been gratifying to see that at the Technology Fund, there's been a lot of confidence in us, in our ability to do this. It's been a series of highs and also a lot of question marks that have come up along the way, and it really helps to have a team at the Technology Fund which is behind us, and we know we'll make this work, but it's not a straight path so far at all.
Right. Great. Well, and last question then, what makes a good investor, and what do you think the UCL Technology Fund could be doing better to help companies like you in the future?
Okay, so that's two quite broad questions. What makes a good investor? Deep pockets, I think that would be and a thorough experience of the space. So UCLTF does have that little extra that really do understand the university spin-out space extremely well, as well the foibles as well as good things that can come of it. My personal opinion about what could have been done better, I think some of those early times really understanding the need for us to get down and focus, getting that across for that single track. I think it was all good. Don't get me wrong. This is not a major criticism, but sometimes I think sometimes looking back on it, we probably needed things shoving down our throats a bit harder, a bit firmer advice. And I think that maybe there's some reticence. You don't want to offend people. Don't want to say, "Come on, you've got to do this, otherwise it's bust." I think that would be a fair thing to say to people. And I think that one or two things we could have heard then. So that's it. Minor point, but
no, that's really helpful and interesting.
I don't know, Adrien, maybe you disagree with me.
I think I would have phrased it a little differently, but there's also a bit of background here. I don't know if you're also hearing this. There's a bit of echo, but I will continue. So I would think that it's been a really good journey so far. I think, speaking personally, it's really good to have an investor that is intellectually interested in the space that we're in, and which listens really carefully, and which is interested in reaching out to people outside our circle to appreciate their perspectives. So we feel like UCL Technology Fund have been very engaged, and also are in a position to guide us with the Series A funding round that's coming up. So in that sense, I think we've really appreciated that you've offered.
Great. Well, guys, it's been a real pleasure and honor to catch up with you both today. And it's looking forward to the next stage of the journey. I think there are very big and exciting things ahead for Echopoint. So it's been wonderful to be invested in the company and in you guys as founders, and yeah, deeply excited about the next stage.